This is K. Subbulakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. I'm going to handle the course Microwave Theory and Techniques. So in this session, we are going to discuss about Introduction to Microwaves. So first we will see the definition for microwave. Microwaves are a form of electromagnetic radiation with wavelength ranging from about 1 meter to 1 millimeter, and the frequency of microwave is between 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz. Different sources define different frequency ranges as microwaves. So this microwave ranges includes both ultra high frequency and extremely high frequency band. So frequencies in this microwave are often referred by their IEEE radar band designations. So this microwave frequency ranges, which has been divided into different bands by IEEE. So those bands are S band, C band, X band, KU, KR, KA band. So microwave means very short wave. So microwave is the shortest wavelength region of the radio spectrum, and it is also a part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So the boundaries between far infrared terahertz radiation, microwaves and ultra high frequency radio waves are fairly arbitrary and are used variously between different fields of studies. We know that microwaves travel by line of sight, and when compared to unlike radio frequency, low frequency radio waves, they do not diffract around hills. It follow the earth surface as ground waves or reflect from the ionospheres. So because of this advantage, terrestrial microwave communication links are limited by visual horizon to about 40 miles. So next we will discuss about the history of microwaves. So in 1932, microwaves were first introduced in the technical literature by Nello Carrara. So this guy introduced a technical literature to designate electromagnetic waves which is having wavelength smaller than 30 centimeter and a frequency above 1 gigahertz. In 1873, foundation of modern electromagnetic theory was formulated by James Clerk Maxwell. So Maxwell formulations was cast in its modern form by Oliver Heaviside during the period 1885 to 1887. So Oliver, he introduced vector notation and provided a foundation for practical application of guided waves and transmission lines. So during the period of 1887 to 1891, Heinrich Hertz, he is a physicist and experimentalist. He provided experimental validation of Maxwell's theory of electromagnetic waves. So we are using for Maxwell's theory of electromagnetic waves. So he did experiment, and the whatever the unit of frequency hertz we are using in his name only. So due to the lack of reliable microwave sources and other components, the growth of radio technology in early 1900s occurred primarily in the HF band, which covers 3 to 30 megahertz, or to very high frequency range, and which covers 30 to 300 megahertz range. During 1895, Marconi designed, he built and experimented with a microwave communication system. So that microwave communication system worked at a wavelength of 10 inches, and the center frequency corresponds to about 1.18 gigahertz with the present day L band. Marconi's early experiment on radio during 1894 to 1896 were at frequencies in the order of 1000 megahertz. So in the late 1930s, it became evident that several effects limit the operation of vacuum tubes in microwave frequency band as wavelength becomes comparable to the dimension of the tube. So in 1935, possibility of microwave generation by utilizing transit time effects together with the lumped circuits were suggested by A.A. Hill and O. Hill. In 1939, W.C. Hahn and J.F. Metcalfe, they both proposed the theory of velocity modulation. So we all know that Crestron amplifier and oscillator, which operates on the principle of velocity modulation. So these two devices are developed by R.H. Varian and SF Varian. in 1921, Hull invented magnetron. And this magnetron remained as a laboratory device till cylindrical magnetron was developed by Booth and Randall in early 1940. In 1944, Kampfner invented helix-type traveling wave tube. Then came the radar. So we know that radar means radio detection and ranging. This is the first major application of microwave technology, so which was developed during World War II. So then later radiation laboratory was established at MIT. So to develop radar theory and practice. Then in early 1960s, solid state microwave sources and microwave integrated circuits emerged. Then hybrid microwave integrated circuits started maturing in mid 1970s, and monolithic microwave integrated circuits, in short form we will call it as MMIC. So this technology became popular in 1990s. So the recognition of microwave engineering as a major field within electrical engineering resulted in the creation of IRE group of MTT in 1952. This IRE later it became IEEE. Now we will discuss about the general block diagram of microwave communication systems. So this microwave communication system consists of transmitter and the receiver. So the major blocks for transmitting a signal is modulator, amplifier, and impedance matching network. So there is in the receiver, the various blocks are RF amplifier, mixer, local oscillator, IF amplifier, IF filter and amplifier, demodulator, display device or speaker. So we will discuss each and every block. So we all know that modulating signal is the information signal and carrier signal is the high frequency signal which carries the information. So these modulating and the carrier signals are first modulated by using the modulator. Then modulated signals are amplified to reach a particular amplitude level. Then impedance matching network is used here. So this impedance matching network is used to match the source with the transmitting antenna. So why we need a matching circuit, matching network? So in order to avoid reflection loss. Okay. So then the RF signal is received from the transmitting antenna. Then it is passed through the RF amplifier. So amplifier will increase the amplitude level of the signal. So then the RF signal is mixed with the local oscillator frequency. So to get the desired frequency of the output. So this desired frequency at the output is called as intermediate frequency. This intermediate frequency is then filtered and amplified. Then it is demodulated to get the required signal at the output of the display device or speaker. So this display device or speaker is the load. So this is about the general block diagram of communication systems. So this is the electromagnetic spectrum, so which shows the various frequency ranges from radio to gamma rays. And here is the microwave. So the wavelength of microwave is 10 to the power of -1 to 10 to the power of -3. And see the size of the wavelength is compared to an ant. Next, we will discuss about what are the various frequency types of frequency under microwave. So we can broadly classify microwave frequency ranges into three types. One is ultra high frequency, super high frequency, and extremely high frequency. So ultra high frequency, the frequency ranges are between 300 megahertz to 3 gigahertz, and the applications in this ranges are, so this ultra high frequency range frequencies are used for television broadcasting, radar, radio astronomy, microwave oven, and cellular telephone. The super high frequency, so it takes the frequency range 3 to 30 gigahertz and it is used for radar, satellite communication, aircraft navigation, radio astronomy, and remote sensing. Next, extremely high frequency. The range of extremely high frequency is from 30 to 300 gigahertz and it is used for radar, advanced communication systems, remote sensing, and radio astronomy. So microwave frequency range from 0.3 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz, it has been classified into 3 types. So we can broadly classify the microwave band into 2 types: traditional microwave band and millimeter wave band. And these are the frequency ranges for various bands. Next, we will see the various microwave band, its frequency range and wavelength. So the first band is the L band. The frequency range for L band is between 1 to 2 gigahertz, and the wavelength range is 15 centimeter to 30 centimeter. S band, the frequency range is from 2 to 4 gigahertz, and the wavelength range is from 7.5 centimeter to 15 centimeter. Next is the C band. The frequency range is 4 to 8 gigahertz. Wavelength is 3.75 centimeter to 7.5 centimeter. And next is the X band. Frequency range is from 8 to 12 gigahertz, and the wavelength is from 25 millimeter to 37.5 millimeter. So up to C band, the wavelength range is in the centimeter. From X band, the wavelength is in millimeter. So we all know that as the frequency increases, wavelength decreases. Next is the KU band. Frequency range is 12 to 18 gigahertz, and the wavelength is from 16.7 millimeter to 25 millimeter. For K band, it is 18 to 26.5 gigahertz, and the wavelength is 11.3 millimeter to 16.7 millimeter. KA band, the frequency range is 26.5 to 40 gigahertz, and the wavelength is from 5 millimeter to 11.3 millimeter. For Q band, the frequency range is from 33 to 50 gigahertz, and the wavelength is 6 to 9 millimeter. For U band, the frequency range is 40 to 60 gigahertz, and the wavelength is 5 to 7.5 millimeter. For V band, frequency range is 50 to 75 gigahertz, and the wavelength is 4 to 6 millimeter. For W band, the frequency range is 75 to 110 gigahertz, and the wavelength is 2.7 millimeter to 4 millimeter. For F band, it is 90 to 140 gigahertz. Wavelength is 2.1 millimeter to 3.3 millimeter. And finally, the D band frequency range is 110 to 170 gigahertz. The wavelength is 1.8 millimeter to 2.7 millimeter. So this is about the microwave band, its various microwave band, its frequency range and the wavelength. So as the frequency increases, the wavelength decreases. Next, we will discuss about characteristics of microwaves. So first characteristics of microwave is, we all know that microwaves are radiate electromagnetic energy with shorter wavelength. So microwave radiations penetrates fogs and clouds. It travels in a straight lines, and it gives reflections, so which can be used for distance and direction measurements, especially in radar system. So microwaves travel in a straight line, and these microwaves are reflected by conducting surfaces. Microwaves are easily attenuated within shorter distances. So microwaves are reflected by metal surfaces and pass through glass and plastics. Microwave pulses are very short, so they can be used for distance or time measurements. Microwave currents can flow through a thin layer of a cable. So microwaves are necessary for communications through satellites. So satellite communication is possible only with the microwave. So because they can pass through ionosphere, which reflects low frequency radio waves. So microwave power is absorbed by water or any other material containing water, so that microwave can be used for heating and drying. So also microwave is used for cooking also in food industry. Next, we will discuss about the advantages of microwaves. So there are four main advantages, five main advantages: large bandwidth, better directivity, small size antenna, low power consumption, and effect of fading. So first is large bandwidth. So the bandwidth of microwave is large. So when compared to low frequency radio waves, so using microwaves, more information can be transmitted. So these microwaves are used for point-to-point communications because of its large bandwidth. Next is better directivity. We know just now we have discussed about the relationship between wavelength and frequency. As the frequency increases, wavelength decreases. So when the wavelength decreases, directivity increases and beam width decreases. So it is easier to design and fabricate high gain antenna in microwaves. Next advantage is small size antenna. So the antenna needed for microwave communication is smaller in size when compared to the which is used for radio wave. So microwaves, we all know that size of the antenna is inversely proportional to the transmitted frequency. So microwave frequencies are high frequency range. So higher the frequency, the smaller the size of the antenna. So small size antenna is sufficient for microwave communication. Next is low power consumption. So the power which is required to transmit a high frequency signal is lesser than the power required to transmit a low frequency signal. Since microwave is a high frequency signal, so it requires only less power to transmit signals. Next is effect of fading. So effect of fading is minimized by using line of sight propagation technique at microwave frequency. So at low frequency signals, the layers around the earth causes fading of signal. So next we will discuss about the disadvantages of microwaves. So these are the various disadvantages. First disadvantage is cost of equipment or installation cost is high because the microwave devices which are used for microwave communication is heavy and bulky. So they are heavy and occupy more space. Electromagnetic interference may occur. Variations in dielectric properties with temperatures may occur. Inherent efficiency of electric power. Circuit design is complex at microwave frequencies. Measurement at microwave frequencies are difficult. Line of sight limits the use of microwave. So these are the disadvantages of microwaves. Next, we will discuss about the applications of microwaves in various fields. So microwaves are used in various fields. So first we will discuss about wireless communication. So in wireless communication, microwaves are used for long distance telephone calls, for in Bluetooth, then transmitter and receiver links, direct broadcast satellite DBS, then personal communication system PCS, wireless LAN, cellular video systems, automobile collision avoidance system. Next, in the field of commercial uses, burglar as a microwave is used for burglar alarms, garage door openers, police speed detectors, cell phones, pages and wireless LANs, satellite TV, motion detectors, remote sensing. Then applications of microwave in the civil, air traffic control of commercial applications, aircraft landing systems, direction findings, motion detectors, vehicle collision avoidance, distance measurement, surveillance, marine navigation, radio astronomy, and terrestrial and satellite communication links. Next, in the field of medical application, monitoring heartbeat, lung water detection, tumor detection, regional hyperthermia, therapeutic applications, local heating, microwave tomography, microwave acoustic imaging. Next, applications of microwave in military and radar. So microwaves are used for air traffic control, weather forecasting, navigations of ships, speed limit enforcement, electronic warfare, including guided weapons and satellite communications. So microwaves play a vital role in future defense system. So these microwaves will enable the integration and interdependent operation of military ground, surface, air, missile, space-based radar and communication systems for enhanced overall defense effectiveness. Next, in the food industry, microwave ovens are used for preheating and cooking, food processing applications, preheating applications, pre-cooking, roasting food grains and or beans, drying potato chips, moisture removal. Next, applications of microwaves in EMI or EMC. We will see what is meant by this EMI and EMC. So these two, EMI and EMC, are important aspects we have to consider when dealing with the electronics. So this EMC stands for electromagnetic compatibility. So we will see the definition for EMC. So this electromagnetic compatibility is the process of designing or modifying electronic devices to operate without interfering with each other when in close proximity. So this is the definition for electromagnetic compatibility. And EMI stands for electromagnetic interference. And it is an electronic emission that interferes with the components or RF system and most electronic devices. So if a device is not is improperly shielded from the EMI, the device will not work. So EMI shielding is used to ensure that electronics remain fully operational and run without interference. If a component is vulnerable to interference, it will not work. EMC, electromagnetic compatibility, means it is the term used to describe how well a system or device is able to function in an electromagnetic environment. So that is called as electromagnetic compatibility. So every electronic device generates electric noise which interrupts cables and wires and cause problems for connected devices. So the difference between EMI and EMC is that EMI is the term for radiation and EMC is the ability for a system to operate within the presence of radiation. So electromagnetic interference can plague even the best microwave or RF designs and requires careful planning to control. So designers working with electromagnetic energy are constantly faced with the threat of leaks, so which lead to stray electromagnetic energy, so which making its way into the other part of the circuit or system. So EMI, electromagnetic interference, it can disrupt the performance of the system or system it originates from as well as other circuits and system nearby. So rapid advancement in microwave and electronic technologies demands high operating frequency, and hence electromagnetic interference is more likely to occur in systems like PCB, module or chip. So interference occurs when there exists an interfering path and magnitude of culprit noise exceeds the immunity margin of the victim susceptor. So the fundamental factors in any EMI problem are frequency, amplitude, separation and timing, which is abbreviated as FAST. So this frequency, amplitude, separation and timing is abbreviated as FAST. So that is the fundamental factors in EMI problem. So to cause an interference, frequency band of the culprit must overlap with the operating frequencies of the victim. So the culprit and the victim must be operating at the same time. Separation between the culprit and victim is close enough, and the amplitude of the culprit noise is large enough to affect the victim. So different EMI mechanisms dominate in different frequency bands. So conducted emission like crosstalk or common impedance coupling dominates when the frequency is lower than 30 megahertz. Radiation emission from large objects like cables dominate when the frequency is between 30 megahertz and 300 megahertz. Radiation emission from small objects like circuit boards or slot dominates when frequency is higher than 300 megahertz. Next, we will discuss about the concept of modes. We know that a wave has both electric and magnetic fields. All transverse components of electric and magnetic fields determined from the axial components of the electric and magnetic field in the Z direction. So this allowed mode formations. So there are three modes: transverse electric mode, transverse magnetic mode, and transverse electric magnetic mode. And finally, the hybrid modes. So we will discuss about the waveguide mode. So first is TE mode, transverse electric mode. So this waveguide mode is dependent upon the transverse electric wave. So we will call it as a H waves. Okay. So it is characterized by the fact that, so in transverse electric mode, electric vector is always perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So magnetic field will be parallel to the direction of propagation, and electric field will be perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So we can write Ez is equal to 0 and Hz is not equal to 0. And in TM mode, transverse TM mode is called as transverse magnetic waves. So it is otherwise called as E waves. So magnetic vector H is always perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So electric field will be parallel to the direction of propagation. So since magnetic vector is always perpendicular to the direction of propagation, so it is Ez not equal to 0 and Hz is equal to 0. Next, transverse electromagnetic mode. So this mode cannot be propagated within a waveguide. So this mode is commonly used within a coaxial cable or open wire feeders. So this mode is not used for propagation inside the waveguide. So this TEM wave is characterized by the fact that both electric vector and magnetic vector are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So Ez and Hz not equal to 0. So these are the concept of mode. These are the TEM, TE and TEM mode. So in this session, we have discussed about what is meant by microwave and what are all the various microwave frequency band. Then basic, what is the block diagram of microwave communication system. Then we discussed about the advantages, disadvantages, then applications of microwave in various fields. Then we discussed about history of microwaves. Then we discussed about what are all the various modes and which mode is suitable for microwave communication. Thank you.